Welcome to Hope Natural Health, the podcast inspiring you to be your best version. Join me, your host, Dr. Erin, naturopathic doctor, dog mom, cancer survivor, and girl boss weekly as we discuss all things health, hormones, and happiness with a little side of this thing called life. Welcome everyone to this week's episode, and this is another guest episode, and I am so excited to have Rachel Hoeppner with me today to talk about her background, her journey with health and wellness, because she has a really powerful story, and then she's going to tell us how she's taken her journey with health and wellness to starting her new business. So Rachel, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Erin. It is so great to be with you and be on your podcast after having you on my podcast last year. I feel like we've come full circle.
We really have. And honestly, like seeing other people do podcasts, I'm like, I need to get mine out. And it was just, all right, I'm going to do this. And I met Bill here at the recording studio and I said, sign me up. And I didn't know what I was getting into, but I'm like, well, you never really are ready. So you just do it. And that's kind of how I started this. And, you know, looking back on all the different podcasts that I've been on, including yours, I'm like, well, I need to have Rachel on mine because you've got such an incredible story. So let's start first with who the heck you are. Tell me more about your background, how you got into this health and wellness space, and really why you started your business that you have.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, hi everyone. I am Rachel Hoeppner. I am a holistic nutritionist, an integrative nutrition health coach, and a corporate wellness consultant. And that is not where my journey started. So to start my health journey, I need to take you back about 15 years ago when I was entering high school and I was put on the birth control pill because I had extremely irregular periods. I was dealing with acne. I was just a whole slew of teenage hormones and emotions. And I didn't grow up in a very healthy household, so I didn't know what was happening in my body. I didn't really know how to take care of it. And growing up in the 90s, I was eating a lot of processed foods. I was drinking soda. Even though I was playing sports, I was not treating my body in a way that was making me really healthy. So when I went to the doctor for irregular periods and she put me on the birth control pill, I just said, sure. I didn't really know what to ask or what to do. And I trusted my doctor because that's what we're told. And we don't really know how to advocate for ourselves. So I ended up being on the birth control for a total of 12 years. During that 12-year period, I was on 6 different forms of the hormonal birth control pill. And the longer I was on the pill, the sicker I got. So I went from, not really having a period to having a monthly period, but realizing now that it wasn't actually a period. And my cystic acne got significantly worse until it covered my entire face and was very unsightly and extremely self-conscious about it and really painful. I developed severe anxiety and depression as a result of the pill. And from the start of high school to the end of college, I gained 50 pounds.
Oh, gosh.
And I think some of that is just, women, you're growing up, you're developing, like some of that's to be expected, but some of that also came from me being unhealthy and having really terrible hormonal issues going on in my body. So I go back to my doctor and I say, hey, like, I'm feeling worse. Like, what's going on? My skin is a mess. Like, I'm really depressed. Their solution is to put me on antidepressants, like most conventional doctors. So now I'm on the birth control pill. I'm on antidepressants. I go see a dermatologist, and now I'm told to do Accutane, which I was fervently against. I had heard some horror stories. I knew how it treated the inside of your body. So I did not go on the Accutane, but I ended up on spironolactone and a bunch of topical creams, and I tried antibiotics and all kinds of terrible stuff for my acne. So what originally started as being put on the birth control pill for an irregular period spiraled into me being on several medications and being extremely unhealthy by the time I graduated from college. And this is really where I threw my arms up and I said, like, no more. This is not working. I feel terrible. Something is going on inside of my body and no one will listen to me. So I started researching health and nutrition on my own and putting all of these little puzzle pieces together of, okay, when I don't drink soda, I feel better. And when I move my body, I feel better. And so I slowly started to put all these, puzzle pieces together. And I got to the point where I said, okay, I know that I need help from a doctor that I can trust. So for the audience, if you guys don't know, I am actually a patient of Dr. Erin's, and I seeked her out because I knew I needed help from a doctor that would actually listen to me and actually give me answers to questions that other doctors had written me off. So when I had tried to go to my conventional OBGYN and ask for lab testing for my hormones, I was told that it didn't matter because I was on the birth control pill. And at the time I believed that, and I just left and I didn't get answers. So I decided to see Dr. Erin, and we did comprehensive lab testing. And guess what? My hormones were a mess. My thyroid was a mess. I had extensive food allergies. And I ended up coming off of the birth control pill, which I think is one of the most pivotal moments in my health journey in the last 10 years, was realize that I don't want children. And so that was part of the reason I had stayed on the pill for so long, but that I could not be on the birth control. I could still not get pregnant and have kids, but I could live in alignment with my body and I could heal a lot of these underlying issues. So my cystic acne is now gone. I now no longer feel like I am, 30 pounds overweight. I did end up, I'd say, that net weight gain from the beginning of high school is maybe 20, 25 pounds now, but I'm in a really good spot with my weight. Feel like inflammation in my body is a lot lower, and finally got a diagnosis for hypothyroidism, which I probably had my entire life and never knew. So my personal health journey and putting all of these puzzle pieces together is part of the reason why I was inspired to become a nutritionist and a health coach. So I actually went to school for business, thought my whole life, I've told I need to work in business and you need to have a quote unquote real job and climb the corporate ladder. And that didn't bring me joy and fulfillment. But seeing the transformation in my own life and being able to bring that to other women is the greatest job in the world. And I think you feel that as well. You've helped me to heal my own body, and you get to do the same thing. And having a space where there are practitioners that care deeply about the health of their clients and patients and look at the whole person and don't just write random prescriptions and send people on their way. I think this is what's really transforming the health and wellness space and why I am so passionate about working in it now.
Oh, you have one of my favorite stories, and I talk about your specific health journey with a lot of patients that are in the same space that you are. And I know that there's a lot of people listening that are in this exact same position that you once were. And hearing your story is just so powerful because you knew that there was more. You knew that there was, an answer there. You knew that that wasn't the answer, that you were given all of these prescriptions, et cetera. And likely, some of the prescriptions were causing you to have those depression and anxiety and all of that. Like that was a side effect of all of those medications. And then to give you another medication to help you transition, out of that, which probably made it worse. So you're just a great example of what I preach in my practice. And, the one question I wanted to ask you is, how did you keep yourself in that positive, look, like you knew that there was a better answer, like you couldn't live like this? Like I know that there's a lot of patients that sit in that chair in my office and they're exactly like you were back in the day, and just try and, give some positive motivation to the listeners out there.
Yeah, I think the mindset piece is huge, especially when you are feeling like you're in a hole so deep with your health. You feel terrible, you have no energy, you're overweight, you don't like the way your body looks, you can't do things that you would normally enjoy doing. Like that's a really, really hard place to be in. And I think a few things that got me through, especially early in the beginning, was visualizing how I was going to feel when this started working. So not thinking about how I feel now, and some of it's almost tricking your mind, but saying, I am going to feel better. I am going to feel energized. I am not going to be depressed. I am not going to have chronic acne. I had to do a lot of that visualization of where is this journey taking me? And then the beautiful thing that happens is that things start to change and your body starts to heal. And that gives you more motivation to keep going when you
Mm-hmm.
start seeing things change. When you've moved your body, every day for a month, even if it's just walking, and all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden you miss a workout, you miss a walk, and you realize, oh, I don't feel as good. Like, I need to go move my body. I need to go on my walk today.
Mm-hmm.
You start to become your own momentum, and you start to build this intrinsic motivation. And that's what I think propels you even further. I think getting started is the hardest part. It's like trying to push a boulder down a hill. It's really, really hard to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's in motion, it picks up speed faster and easier without you having to work as hard at it.
Oh, that's so true. And you also are a really good example that healing isn't linear either. So I know you had, a period of time where it was better and then it got worse and it was better and it got worse. So will you talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, definitely. So just to use my acne as an example, because I think like for me, that was like the outward manifestation of how sick I was on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's skin conditions or it's excessive weight gain, whatever it might be for you. I think we have something that is externally manifesting that shows us what's going on the inside that's not working. And so when I was in college and I was like trying desperately to heal my acne, I was so desperate because I was in college. I was, trying to have a social life, and I, couldn't even stand to see pictures of myself. My skin hurt all the time. So I went to my dermatologist and I went on all these different medications, antibiotics, probiotics, spironolactone, topical this, that, whatever. And my skin got better for a while because it was changing the microbiome in my body, and it was trying to help reduce some of the androgen response that I was having. So for a little while, my skin got better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives you this confidence boost. And you're like, okay, this is it. Like, my acne's gone. But then it was a Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden my gut microbiome was worse afterwards. Like, that initial round of antibiotics, like, yeah, my skin cleared up for a little while, but then it was worse when it came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was really hard to see because especially for women, we're so worried about what we look like and how people perceive us. And to have a face full of acne as, 23, 25-year-old is really embarrassing, especially as you're trying to enter the workplace. And so I had a lot of days where I would just cry about it. And it was so emotional. And I think if you're on a weight loss journey or a mental health journey, you've had those days too, where it just feels like it's too much and you feel like it's never going to get better. And what I tell my clients and what I tell my friends and my family is it gets better. Healing is not linear, but that doesn't mean that it's headed in the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
And I think those are two very important distinctions to make is it's not a straight line. You're going to have ups and downs, but you're headed in the right direction. And that's what you need to keep in mind. And you're going to have great days and you're going to have bad days. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it is going to be worth all that work that you're putting in.
Oh, absolutely. And I can relate to that too with my health journey and cancer. It's like not every day was the best, but I knew that I was going to get on the other side of that giant mountain that I was climbing with beating it. And yeah, we all have those moments where we just feel defeated and we feel like we're not going to get better, and we do curl up in a ball and just cry. And that's okay. Like, allow yourself to have those feelings, have those emotions, but still have that positive mindset that you are moving in the right direction. I think that's very important to point out and know that you're not moving in the wrong direction. It's just you might have to take a few steps backwards before you take those few steps forward again. And that's a really, really good reminder. I love that.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between falling down and staying down.
Ooh,
and you're
like
going to fall down.
Like
it is inevitable that you're going to hit roadblocks and it's going to get tough and you're going to have the days where you say, I can't do it anymore. Yeah. I just want to curl up in a ball and cry. And take that day. Feel the emotions.
Yep.
Get it out of your system, but don't stay down. Get back up and keep going because you are your best investment. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So that time and energy that you are investing in becoming a healthier, better version of yourself, it is always worth it. And I had those days where I felt like it was never going to get better. And I just wanted to curl up and cry and eat a bucket of ice cream.
Yeah.
But I didn't stay in that place. And I think like that, it's
No, I have patients like that every day. They message me and they're like, I'm not feeling any better. And then we'll go through some symptoms. And I'm like, but you are feeling better. You're just not to that finish line that you want to be at. And it's a good reminder too that you didn't get to where you were in your worst state overnight, and you're not going to get to your best state overnight either. And that's another important factor to remember, that it's not going to happen quickly, but as long as we're trending in that right direction, that's all that matters. So just seeing those small wins is so important.
I couldn't agree more. I think you have to focus on the positive and you have to focus on what's working. Like I'm off antidepressants now. Like a big part of my healing was no longer needing to be on medication and having good therapists and finding positive coping mechanism. Like that is a victory that people externally don't see. Mm-hmm. They don't know if I'm on antidepressants or not. They don't know what's going on in my head. And so those are some of those victories that they're for you, mm-hmm. and you have to focus on it, because not everybody is going to see all the healing that you're doing, but it's happening on the inside. Mm-hmm. So focusing on how you're feeling and checking in there, I think is critically important.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. So where do you see the lack in the health industry now that you're embarking on this coaching and, throughout your journey? Where do you personally see a lack in the health industry?
I mean, how much time do we have? We could talk about this
right?
for an entire day. We could do like a podcast telethon 24 hours straight.
There's so much
about what's lacking.
Yes.
So I'll say three things that I think I see a lot in my practice, because mm-hmm. I see all women, mm-hmm. Mostly between 20 and 40. And a huge issue is that they are not being listened to by their doctors. Mm-hmm. Yep. Women are written off. They are minimized. They are not taken seriously. Mm-hmm. And we struggle to advocate for ourselves because we view doctors as authority figures. That's how I was for a long time.
Yeah.
My doctor said, you don't need lab testing. I just say, okay, you're right. And I leave.
Yep.
And you go to your doctor and you're saying, I'm having bad period cramps. And they say, oh, cramps are a part of PMS, like leave. Mm-hmm. And we're not saying my cramps are so bad that I cannot get out of bed. They are making me throw up. I cannot go to work. Mm-hmm. And we even minimize our own symptoms because we don't want to be a burden on anyone.
Oh, yeah.
So I think like advocating for yourself and being very, very clear that something is not right. Mm-hmm. Something is wrong in my body. I am not taking no for an answer. Like, we can't change the behavior of doctors. And if it's a doctor that's not listening to you, find another doctor.
Absolutely.
And when you find a doctor that will listen, advocate for yourself and be ruthless in your accountability of your healthcare provider. And if you're a parent, the way that you advocate for the needs of your children, that is the way that you need to advocate for your own needs as well. Mm-hmm. If you have a pet, we advocate for our pets.
Oh, yeah.
So much more than we advocate for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I see that as a really big problem. Like, I have women that have been written off by doctors. You hear it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Women written off by doctors. So I think that's not serving women and underserved communities that really need help and have health issues that are very, very serious. So I'd say the second thing is the very easy, nonchalant culture of writing prescriptions. Mm-hmm. Like, I look at it in my own life. Over the course of 10 years, I ended up on 5 different medications. And here I wasn't even 25. Mm-hmm. And I've got a whole medicine cabinet full of pills that I did not need to be on, that I didn't know what they were doing to my body. And they were all quick fixes. It was, oh, you have an irregular period, birth control pill is going to fix that. Well, newsflash, it doesn't actually fix an irregular period. And when you come off the pill, whatever problem it was hiding is going to come back with a vengeance.
Yep.
So I wish that doctors were more hesitant to write prescriptions, but I know it's a conflict of interest because they get paid. And Big Pharma spends billions of dollars on marketing and education for doctors to prescribe their medications. And you can't prescribe and make money off of a whole foods diet.
Right.
You can't prescribe and make, or supplements, or moving your body 5 days a week. There's no money to be made in that for doctors. And I think it's a huge conflict of interest that my doctor made money by putting me on a birth control pill and then putting me on an antidepressant and putting me on additional medication for acne.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that at the time, and I just
Right.
was doing what I was told.
Ugh, yep.
So I think that's the second one. And then I think the third and final one is the really terrible lack of health education
Mm.
for young people,
Mm-hmm.
not just in America, but honestly, in places all over the world. My health education was learning that if I had sex, I was going to get pregnant, about a variety of STDs through terrible pictures that were shown to me through my health ed class. And like it was given like a goodie bag with like a tampon in it. Like
Right.
that was the extent of the health education that I received. And nobody actually teaches you how to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We are not taught, hey, like what foods are really, really great for your body and what foods are damaging.
Mm-hmm.
Why is moving your body so important? Why is getting great sleep so important? Why is having a spiritual or emotional practice so important? There is zero education. And instead, women are taught about diets.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taught from an early age, like, you know, beauty looks a certain way. You need to fit in a certain box. And if you don't, here's a diet. Here's Weight Watchers or calorie counting or just, I don't know. There was one guy that just ate McDonald's and beer and like somehow he lost weight and people are like, oh, okay, well then that's it.
Yeah. Or the
So,
Subway diet.
oh, good Lord. I just
Right.
read an article that like Subway's tuna was just tested
Oh,
and
yeah.
had zero tuna DNA.
Oh, yes. That is a new research, and that's terrifying.
So scary. So not only is there no education about what you should be doing, the information you are getting, all of this toxic diet culture, is everything you shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're marketing it to you in a way that's really predatory. It's, hey, summer's next week. You want to lose 20 pounds in 7 days? Like, do you
Yep.
feel like crap about your body and we can fix that for you with this, you know, diet pill? Like, it's very, very predatory in terms of diet culture. So I'd say that coupling that terrible lack of education, especially for young women, with the diet culture that exists now and how easy it is to find through the internet and social media, like those are my top three things. Like women are not listened to by doctors. We prescribe medications far too easily. And the lack of information or amount of misinformation that we're exposed to is enormous.
Amen. I hear those exact same three things when people come to me, and it's just it really, really frustrates me that that is, you know, what we've been told or learned, you know, all of these years. And that's why I get up and do what I do every day, because that's not how I was taught. And that's the beauty of naturopathic medicine. And if you are listening and you have no idea still what naturopathic medicine is, like, go on naturopathic.org and read about it and try and find a physician in your area, because you will be blown away by the amount of time that we spend with you and really listen to you and get those answers that you deserve, but more importantly, teach you. And it's funny how I used to want to be a teacher and then didn't do that, obviously. And now here I am, like, incorporating teaching into my profession. And that's another reason why I wanted to start this podcast, so that I can continue that teaching, because we're not taught these things. And when you were talking about the sex ed and the tampon, it's like, yeah, they give you a tampon, but then they don't teach you anything about your period. It's like, okay, I guess I remember starting my period and then I used pads because that's what my mom told me to do. But then I didn't want to wear a pad. So I literally had to figure out how to use a tampon myself. And it's just unfortunate that we're not taught these things because it's kind of taboo, or you don't talk about it, or it's gross, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But you're so absolutely right. It's so unfortunate, and we're changing healthcare, you and me together, and the whole army of other people in our field. And it's just so exciting to see, hopefully, that this will all change in these upcoming years.
I really hope so. And I think as people continue to vote with their money,
Mm-hmm.
we will continue to see change.
Mm-hmm.
So supporting holistic health practices and ethical farming and fair treatment of animals and like all these things, anything that you support or want to see a change in the world,
Mm-hmm.
you're voting with your dollars. So if you don't like the way that McDonald's is treating animals and the quality of their food, then we don't eat there and we don't spend our money there and we don't support them in that way. And we choose to go and support someplace like one of my favorites right now is Salad and Go.
Oh yeah, you love Salad and Go.
I'm obsessed with Salad and Go. If you guys don't know what that is, it is literally a drive-through salad place. That's all they serve. is salads, and you can just get a custom made salad for $6 with anything on it, and it is all organic ingredients. Like, that is the kind of business I want to support, because it is making healthy eating easy, accessible, and affordable for everyone. You can go, you buy a meal at McDonald's at $6, or you can get this amazing huge salad for $6. So voting with your money, I think, is so important.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really, 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 really good reminder. And yes, I love Salad and Go. And every time I go there, I think of you, because we finally got one open near my house, and I love it. I am not sick of it. And they have really good soup too. Okay, so I know that you're coaching women primarily, and I know that you're encountering a lot of women who are struggling with their health like you were back in the day. So where do you suggest someone begins that's in this position that we've been talking about, where they're just stuck and they don't know what to do?
Yeah, so I think I want to preface by saying, like, I am not unique. My story, my experience, my health issues happen to women every single day. And me healing my body was not some miracle that cannot be achieved by other people. And everything I did to heal my body and lose weight and get to where I am today, it was 100% a series of small changes. So there was not one single thing that I did that was a magic bullet. And the analogy that I'll give, since my background is in finance, is the idea of compound interest. So if you have a bank account or a savings account, you know that if you put in some money and you get interest and you have it reinvested, it grows exponentially compared to just putting $1 in a bank account.
Right.
And I want you to view your health in the same way, that every small change that you make, you're putting a deposit into that bank of health in your body, and it is an exponential growth factor. So if you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, you're overwhelmed, just pick one thing. And if you change one thing every week for the next year, not only at the end of that time will you have had 52 changes made in your life, but the exponential growth in your health based on those changes will blow your mind. So right now, maybe you're not drinking water, and you just start with drinking water. I recommend you drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, drink at least 75 ounces. If you live in Arizona, like Dr. Erin and I would say, like, maybe closer to your body weight in ounces of water during the hottest time of the year. Just start with that and get really, really great at drinking water. And if you're not eating any vegetables in a day right now, maybe start by adding in 1 serving of veggies every day. Or if you're not moving your body at all, start going on a walk once a week, and just add these on top of each other. So just a series of small changes add up to really, really big results. And that's what I did. There was not one thing I did that was miraculous. I did not uncover some, secret to healing myself. It was just all of those small changes that I made slowly over time. And it takes time. There is no quick fix. If you think there's a quick fix, if you think you're going to wake up next week and be healed, let that go. It is not serving you. It will set you up for disappointment. It is a journey, and it takes time, but it is 100% worth it. So just start somewhere, pick one thing, and just get started.
That's so important to remember, because we've been brought up in that society where you don't feel well, you go to the doctor and you get a pill to make you feel better. Same thing with chronic illness and, acne and period problems. It's like, oh, here, take this pill to fix it. But yeah, it might be a quick fix. I mean, in your case, it didn't really make anything better, but for some people, it might. But then it's like, you can't take that pill forever. You can't, do this regimen for the rest of your life. And then what? Same thing with dieting. It's like, okay, you go on this diet, then what? What happens after the diet? So if you can just make those small changes that compound on each other, just like you talked about, that is absolutely 100% the really good advice. So thank you for that.
Oh. Yeah, of course. I think what I want people to take away from it, especially with diet culture, you were not born to do a series of diets and feel like crap about your body and then die. Yeah. That is not what your life is about.
Right.
And you should be able to eat foods that you love and enjoy. And my practice is a huge focus on nutrition and mindset and our relationship with food, because there's a lot tangled up in there that we have to unwind so that you can let go of diets and you can enjoy food again and you can feel really great because you are worth more than that. You deserve more than that. And I think society tells us very, very differently, especially when it comes to the quick fixes or the crash diets. That's not, that's not leading us down a path that gives us lasting health and happiness.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Gosh, we could probably talk for hours, but we're running out of time here. So my last question for you that I'm asking every guest that's on the show is, what is your best or favorite health tip? You probably already kind of talked about it, but give us another one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we could write a whole book just
right?
full of health tips. Like we all have like a million. I would say, like, if I think about probably the most important thing that you can do for your health or do for your body is tell yourself that you are worthy. Tell yourself what you love about yourself. Give gratitude for your health and your body and everything that it allows you to do. Come from a place of self-love and self-nurturing. Think about how you would talk to your friend or your sister or your daughter and talk to yourself in that way. And we are our own worst critics. We talk to ourselves in the harshest, meanest ways. I've talked to women that say they hate their body. They can't look in a mirror. They can't look at a picture of themselves. And that makes me really sad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So take time every day to practice gratitude and give thanks for your body, and look in the mirror and tell something to yourself that you love about yourself, and say, like, thank you, body, for letting me go on a walk today, or letting me live today without chronic pain, or in your case, Dr. Erin, when you've overcome something difficult or traumatic, thank you for letting me heal from XYZ. Like, there's so much to be said for the way that we talk to ourselves and the mindset we have around our health and our healing.
So true. Well, you all have homework now. So your assignment is to say something nice to yourself, give yourself gratitude, and know that you are worth whatever you desire. And that goes for your health, your business, your wealth, you name it, relationships, whatever the case may be, you are deserving and you are worth that. So that is just the perfect way to end this podcast. And I just want to thank you so much, Rachel, for being on my show. This was amazing. I know I will have you back because, like I said, we could probably talk for hours. And yeah, let everyone know quickly where they can find you. And we'll have all of this linked in the show notes as well.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I will come back anytime you want to dive deep into period stuff or anything, or nutrition or food allergies. I am here for it.
Awesome.
If you guys want to stay in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram at Real Health with Rach, all one word, spelled just how it sounds. I share tons of recipes, advice for healthy living. And if you have any questions about anything related to my health journey or anything we talked about, do not hesitate to shoot me a DM or an email at realhealthwithrach@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being here. And we kind of touched a little bit and alluded into, it's kind of fitting that my next episode that you don't want to miss next week will be all about 3 signs that your period might not be normal. So we all know that Rachel experienced abnormal signs with her period, but was told, well, here, take this pill. So I'm going to be talking about that next week, so you don't want to miss that. And as always, if you found value in this and want to share it with the world, we would both appreciate it. So screenshot it, tag both me and Real Health with Rach, share it to the world, and you can leave us an awesome review. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.